Welcome to the Beehive. Play the theme song.
You're now entering the Beehive with your host, Double B.
Welcome to the Beehive. I am Double B, aka Bobby Williams. I'm stoked. I'm very excited for this episode because I'm going to be speaking with the legendary Gift-A-Gab from the crew Blackalicious. I've always been a Blackalicious fan. You know, this was one of my... I'd say when I was in high school, just kind of discovering underground hip hop and how it could be separate from just, mainstream hip hop that's out there. It was like the album Blazing Arrow was such a big deal to me. It was like every day before school in the headphones on the CD player. It's like that was a just very meaningful album in my life at the time. Later, I got to do some shows with Gift-A-Gab and tour and get to know him a little bit. And he's always been just a very cool, very down-to-earth type dude. So, we get a little inside hip-hop with it. We get to nerd out on some Blackalicious questions. We're talking about the state of the world. And one thing is he really recently, like 2 months ago or so, just had a kidney transplant and was dealing with some major health challenges before that. So we get into a lot with it. Welcome to the Beehive. Yeah. Well, thanks for your patience with this. This is all sort of a learning curve with Zoom.
Hey man, I'm here at the house, man. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody in the world right now, man. I'm stuck at the house.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit about this is like a collective effort, or we all have to work together on this.
But it's a lot of people are discriminating against Asian people, man, because they keep calling it the Chinese virus, man. And if you look on the news, man, people are really not being kind to Asian people right now, man. And this is the exact opposite. I mean, that shouldn't happen at all, man. But
no,
like I said, man, you would think this would bring people together because we're all humanity. We're all facing this, and either we're gonna make this go away, not the politicians. And at this point, a lot of it's in our hands. We have to play a part in this. We can't be selfish and be like, well, I want to do what I want to do, because you do that and then you cause yourself be at risk, and you cause other people to be risk and perhaps even get sick. This is the one time when the universe or God or whatever it is, source is sending us a message that, hey, yo, it's no time for bullshit right now. We gotta either stand together and act as one, like some ants, or be selfish, be about yourself, and let this thing continue to go on killing people. It's in our hands now as much as it is, at least from the information they're giving us. You know, if all of that is 100% accurate, we're in a place, but this is all we know. We're in a place where we either stand together as humanity and sacrifice. Shit could get real apocalyptic, man. This thing is very, very real and could get really, we won't put any energy on that because I don't believe that's going to happen, man. But, we're in control of it, though. That's the thing. I'm diabetic, man.
The other day, there were protests all around the country where they were like gathering en masse to say like the lockdown is an overreach. I mean, what do you think about this? Like, to me, it felt like just like being spat in the face to be like, here I am locked down for 6 weeks and we're going to get 2,000 people together at the Capitol. And it's like, okay, you have your individual rights or whatever, but then it's like
Yeah.
your rights are infringing on my right to just live, you know?
Yeah, and the last time people gathered in Miami Beach, some young people, like 3,000 of them were at the beach. To my knowledge, the information that I got, about 200 of them left the beach with the virus. They didn't have the virus when they came to the beach. So that's very dangerous, man. Gathering in big crowds is down there. It is like at this point, from the information we're getting, I'm always going to say that because I don't know who's telling the whole truth right now, but from the information we're getting, it feels Russian roulette. Going out in big crowds right now is basically like playing Russian roulette, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people are just thinking it can't happen to them, and I do understand this aspect. People are saying, because I saw this on the news, people are in certain parts of the world are saying, we need to go work and make money. And I understand that, because if you can't go to work, you can't make money. If you can't make money, you can't eat. If you can't eat, you starve. And here's the thing. When people start to starve, this thing gets a little irrational. So it could get really crazy in the future if this thing doesn't go away. God willing, it won't get there. But it's just something needs to be done about this, and people have to realize that we're and the social distancing, we're a big part of whether this thing goes away or it stays and gets worse. You know?
We're all counting on each other. Well, so what?
Yeah, but everybody ain't acting like that. Everybody's not acting like that. You know, common sense, man. It's common sense, and it comes down to sacrifice for everybody, or be selfish because you don't feel like you want to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And risk lives because you didn't want to stay inside. And I'm not judging nobody, because I understand what it is. You know, the people that I really feel for the most is the poor people in the world. Yeah. Because the poor people in the world, if they can't work, there's a lot of people, and I've done this myself in the past. You know, I've lived check to check. We're 3 days where I get a check every week, and then by Thursday, I'm borrowing money from people trying to get to the next check. Not saying that that's the best way to live, but when I was younger, I kind of had that kind of lifestyle. And I'm really worried about people like that and people that are in extreme poverty, because everything's closed, number one. Number two, a lot of those people rely on panhandling, going out and just begging for money. And number three, it's like, you know, what's going to happen to those people? Are they going to just starve because they can't? You know, I know we got this $1,200 coming in, and that'll help for a second, but I don't know, man. Yeah. You know, they got work. I guess they got unemployment too, you know. But some people, like in certain countries, like I was watching something about India the other day, and I saw this dude nonchalantly just say, "Yeah, we're either gonna die of the virus or starvation," you know. And he said it kind of like that's the truth, that's the fact. He's dealt with it, he's gotten over it, and he's accepted it as his reality. And I'm like, how are there billionaires and millionaires in the world and people starving? Yeah. You know, how can there be people in the world who have money that they're never even gonna spend, you know, or that they can just give away some of it and still continue to build and not even threaten their security as rich people? How are there people that are wealthy in the world and people that are starving in the world at the same time? You know, on a human level, it really doesn't make sense, man. It's like everybody's out for themselves. And it's like money over humans right now, money over human life right now, you know?
Well, it makes me think too, like, what is money? Like, if we can just kind of make this money to give everyone $1,200 and support every small business and everything, it's just like, money or not, we have the same amount of resources, or it just makes you rethink capitalism a little too.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, major corporations are getting rich off of the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. You know, they're getting like paid off, and people that are wealthy are getting paid off of this coronavirus. And, you know, it almost feels like, this is just from my observations, And I almost feel like America's becoming a third world country slowly,
Mm.
slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, man. If you're not working a career job, or you're not like an entrepreneur, whether you be an MC or whether you be whatever, some kind of entrepreneur, you're really struggling right now. If you used to be able to work at UPS, you could work 6 to 8 hours a day. You could pay your rent, you could pay your bills. You can still have money to kick it on the weekend. You
Yeah.
can't do that anymore. It's not doable anymore. You got to get, if you're working a job like that, you got to get 2 or 3 jobs just to maintain. Like I said, the middle class is disappearing slowly.
Yeah.
It seems like. I'm not going to say anything is concrete because these are just my opinions, you know, and I don't know everything. But it's starting to look, if you compare it to where it's going, you know, it's starting to look like that, you know?
What do you think about the future for kind of working class artists? You know, like everyone's kind of relied on touring, and streaming isn't, you know, that great.
You know, that reality just hit me, like yesterday. Like, oh shit, no live concerts.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's been over a year, fall of 2021. So you know, it's just a matter of, like everything, like this virus. This is a very adapting situation where you kind of have to adapt to what's going on, you know?
Well, I know you do a lot of music licensing too. I'll tell you a moment that got me really stoked recently was watching Spider-Verse and then hearing your...
Right, yeah, I've seen it, and we knew it. We basically, they contacted us when they wanted to use a song, so we knew it was going to be... That's one thing we're doing really well on right now in the last few years is getting licensing. And those things definitely help you because, you know, a lot of times they're like 5 figures big, you know?
I want to kind of get into a little bit more of you and like Gift-A-Gab and who you are. What inspired Chemical Calisthenics? Like that's different than your typical song. Like were you taking a science class or something or?
Alphabet Aerobics inspired Chemical Calisthenics.
Uh-huh.
Alphabet Aerobics was basically, cut chemist. We had this song called A to G. We went through the alphabet from A to G because we're like, what can we do that nobody has ever done? We were in that mode at that time. We was like, okay, we got to do something nobody's ever done. That was the whole point of A to G was, okay, we're striving to be innovators. And it's like, okay, cool. So then Cut Chemist came along with the idea for Alphabet Aerobics is the remix. Alphabet Aerobics is really a remix to A to G, you know, but it just kind of took its own life and became its own thing. And then Chemical Calisthenics, we was like, how do we top Alphabet Aerobics now?
Yeah.
And we came up with the idea, no, Cut Chemist, because his name is Cut Chemist. He came up with that idea for Chemical Calisthenics too. And I wrote it in the night. I didn't know anything about chemistry. He gave me this pamphlet with a bunch of definitions of what different terms in chemistry meant. So I used that to make sure that everything that I was saying made sense. We did it. That's basically desire to make something original, do something that we haven't been done before.
You've been rapping since you were a kid. I remember we were talking a while back and you were talking about like battling Brother Lynch as a kid, or you guys knew each other when you were younger?
Yeah. Shout out to Brother Lynch. One of the illest, in my opinion, you know?
How did you all know each other when you were young?
Well, I lived in Sacramento when I went to high school. You know, he went to another high school, and back then, different people from different high schools would come and battle each. I think me and this a friend of mine was rapping against this chick, and we might have been a little disrespectful. So she was like, all right, I'm gonna get my dudes to come and slay y'all. So they came to our high school, and you know, we went back and forth. It was probably like 10 rhymes per person. We went back and forth. As far as the winner, I think we both kind of thought we won, and we kind of both just walked away, said, I won. You know, a young ego pride. But I couldn't tell you because I was in the middle of it, and I know that it was a good battle, and that everybody was coming with heat. But I know that we saw each other again on a bus, maybe like a few months later, and it was love and respect, man, because, you know, because we was both like, damn, bro, you kind of had me a little nervous, you know.
Yeah.
And from then, you know, back in when we was young, you know, I used to hit him up like, oh, check this rhyme out. All right, he hit me up like, check this rhyme out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to Brother Lynch, man. Very, very, one of the illest, man. One of the illest to ever do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Thinking another thing that's impressive about you is you can really chop. What do you think is the difference between someone that is just attempting to rap fast and someone who can actually chop? Like, what makes a good chopper?
Well, chopping to me and rapping in general, the way I look at it, you know, I feel like it's not that different from being a person who plays instruments. You're just using words and your vocal cords.
Yeah.
So I deal with cadences and I deal with pockets. I listen to the music, and then the music tells me how to approach the track and what's a good pocket cadence. I want to fit into the track like a glove.
Well, you've had a chance to work with like a lot of great artists too, or you know, when you're collabing, do you have like, you know, I asked someone else this recently, but do you have a competitive spirit when you're like, say you're one verse on a 3-verse song and you have other, you know, really good rappers, like does part of you,
oh yeah,
you know,
whenever you're on a song with another rapper, you know, and we don't talk about this amongst each other as rappers,
yeah.
but you know, you're trying to body the track.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be, and if you're not going for that, why are you emceeing?
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna write it and just be like, yeah, you do something cool, I don't believe in that. I think every MC, when they get on a song with another MC, it's about, unless the song is just very, very, very concept driven, and it doesn't call for anything aggressive. You know, there's songs I've done like that where the concept is so mellow and the music's so mellow that all you really have to do is do what you feel, and it may not put you in a competitive spirit. You might just hear what you want to do to that beat, and it might just come out, you know. But then if it's like a busting song where we're just live on stage type song, that's when it's like, okay, this is still sharp and still. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's something I appreciate about
I've
hip hop.
I've always had to have MCs around me that were like that.
Have you seen the Project Blowed open mic they had out there a long time?
I've been there. I've been to Project Blowed.
We lived out in Costa Mesa when I was 21 and went to the Project Blowed, and I just appreciated the please pass the mic. Like if they're not feeling you, they're cutting you off.
Yeah, because at Good Life, they would definitely do the same thing. I think they took a lot of the traditions from the Good Life and they just took them to Project Blowed. And
I remember just seeing the person before me and they got passed on, and this was my first time there. And it's like, well, I better not mess this up. But I got through my whole song, you know, so it was like, good, phew, you know.
And that's hip hop. That's hip hop. And that's the rawness of what hip hop used to be. Because nowadays, if you got a name or whatever, or people, sometimes even if not, nowadays the crowd comes to party. They just come to party now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not like back in the days. Number one, back in the late 80s or not, most of the crowd was African American, and this is not a racial thing. This is just a fact. Performing for a black audience is a different experience from performing for a white audience. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just back in the days, it wasn't just like, we're going to give it up. Half of the crowd was MCs and was standing there with their arms folded, looking at you like, what you going to do? And you had to come with some shit. You couldn't just be like, I'm here to entertain you. Yes, I am me. I'm the MC. You was like, they was grilling you like, what are you going to do? And you was, until, you know, the crowd grew to love you. And then you come back and then they show you love. But when they first saw you, it was just like, it was hard. It was like, it was vicious. But if you a dope MC, it's only going to bring out something doper in you, because you're going to see that and you're going to go, okay, all right, let's do this. And it's going to pull something out of you as an MC that maybe you wouldn't have tapped into if you weren't there direct experience. You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yep. Well, what do you think? Were you a big Bill Withers fan?
Yes. Yes. Man, I think he just was a great songwriter, man. He was a great songwriter, and if you ever saw the documentary Still Bill, he was just a down-to-earth person, man. And he just loved making music, man. And he just made great, you know, from a lovely day to sitting on top of the bay. You know, he's just made some classic music that will stand the test of time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you know, there's so much love in that music too, or it just seemed like a very compassionate person came up with these ideas, or songs like Grandma's Hands, like, you know, there aren't any other like real grandma tributes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, Bill was dope, man. I want to make an all soul singing album too one day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Probably sooner than later.
Yeah. I could see you as a voice actor or something, you know.
Yeah,
you cool.
you see my DoorDash commercial?
Oh no, tell us about that.
Yeah, we had a commercial. We've already done some voiceover work. Type up Blackalicious and DoorDash.
Okay.
And it's kind of like they use alphabet aerobics. We talk about different foods, but we go faster and faster and faster with the foods. And you know, and that was my first voiceover thing. It wasn't like for a character. It was just me going DoorDash, such and such and such. You know, after the rap was done. So I absolutely want to do that. I also want to you know, get into the actual voiceover of voicing over characters. You know. But, you know, all of that is, right now I'm an MC. I'm a working class MC.
Mm-hmm.
And my life is good, man. You know, my life is good. You know, I have several streams of income based on my talent. You know, I'm able to save money. You know, I can't really be mad right now. You know, I've gotten to see the world, you know, all through rapping, all through MCing, you know.
Well,
so I'm not mad at where I'm at, but I still have higher plateaus that I want to reach. I think as an artist, you always are going to want to reach higher plateaus at some point, you know, because creativity is not something that you exhaust.
I just feel like you're in an interesting place. I mean, we're all kind of experiencing a moment right now, just with COVID and everything. Yeah. But you were on dialysis for like 7-8 years and are now off it.
Yeah.
Has that experience of just health issues changed your perspective in any way, or you think about yourself beforehand and who you are now? Like, has it just changed the way you think about the world at all, or?
Yeah, I'm absolutely a different person. You know, I meditate now in the morning. I work out every day pretty much. Maybe not every day, but most days. I eat a lot healthier. My mind's a lot sharper. And, you know, I'm just older too, man. You know? So, I mean, it absolutely, I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. Mm-hmm. And when you do a lot of that stuff, your mind gets clearer, you know, because if it's so fogged, you know, and I understand the recreational aspect of alcohol and drugs, you know, but, you know, I was doing a lot. I was doing a whole lot. And after a while, you don't become the same person anymore. You become the person that needs that fuel to exist or to be. And you feel kind of lost without it because you're used to being in that mode and you're not used to just being in a regular mode anymore. So I had to, you know, be like, wait a minute, this isn't even the natural me. Yeah. You know, this is me when I'm high, or this is me when I'm drunk. What about me? You know what I mean? And it came a point where when I wasn't drunk or high, I was lost. I couldn't conversate really good. You know, people be talking to me, and in the middle of the sentence, I'd just be like, I don't know what this person's talking about. You know, so it was good to get clean. And then I started meditating, which caused me to start working out, because the more I meditate, I've been meditating for like 2.5 years now. And the more I meditated, I do this practice called mindfulness, where you watch your thoughts and you watch your emotions. The more you watch your thoughts and the more you watch your emotions, there's an awareness. This is my experience. there's an awareness that comes over you that says, wait a minute. If I can watch my thoughts and my emotions, what part of me is watching them? And then you realize, oh, I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. And the more, for me, my experience, the more I continue to watch them, the less power they have. Because when something that you don't want to feel comes up, and now you're aware when it comes, oh, that's that. And it's a lie. It has nothing to do with this moment. I realized after I meditated that my mind was taking me on a ride through life. And then, you know, there were thoughts that I would hear my mind say, like, wait, is this my truth? Like, even right before I started going to the gym, I was meditating every day, and I would be aware of the thoughts and say, you're not that dude. You know, you always been overweight. You know, you're not the type. That's just not who you are. And then I had to question it, like, this is another lie. Wait a minute. So that moment I got up and went and got a gym membership, and I just started going. It really taught me that I'm in control of how I feel and how I use that energy all the time. You know, because I could have said, when I first got on dialysis, I asked a nurse, I said, how long do people usually live on dialysis? She said, 4 years. And I was shook. I'm going to be real. I was really like, damn, 4 years. What the fuck? But, you know, I started eating the right foods. I started learning more about what to eat on dialysis, what not to eat. I started learning things that they don't tell you at the dialysis center, like probiotics. Mm-hmm. And like smaller meals instead of larger meals, how important exercises, saunas, because saunas get rid of toxins too. And that's what dialysis does, is get rid of toxins. And I just started doing a little research and acting on it. The next thing you know, it was 7 years. And I was like, damn, I've been on dialysis for 7 years and I've lost hella weight and I kind of feel better than I felt in a long time on dialysis. And then, but there were still complications. Like, I'd be real tired after a show. Last couple of shows was like, I don't know how much longer to be able to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's when the kidney came. I got home. No, we flew in. We landed at 6:30 p.m. I got home probably about 7:30. I got a call at 8 o'clock. Hey, we have a kidney for you. Can you be out here tomorrow? So I wasn't even home for a full hour from tour. Oh. And I got the call saying that there was a new kidney. So I went right out to Arizona. And, you know, it's just really taught me to think positive and be positive and use that and act on it and act positive. It just really taught me that we are all the creators of our life reality, because we all live in two worlds. We live in the world that we can see and feel physically, and we live in the world of emotions and thoughts and ideas and imagination. And then beingness even is underneath that. So you go beyond thoughts and you go beyond emotions and you get to beingness itself. And beingness is where I believe you connect to God, because it wasn't born. It's not the physical body. The physical body is what we appear as in this physical dimension. Your true core is not the true core being of what I believe people are. There's no conditioning. I'm conditioned. My name is Tim Parker. I'm Gift the Gab the rapper. I'm born this way. This do. There's all this programming that I got since I was a child, born, because when you're born as a baby, you don't know anything. I believe we're spirits and we come here and we purposely forget and become babies and relearn. And eventually, I think you get to a point where you start to see beyond the bullshit and you start to see beyond the veil, and you have a couple of births in life. And that's why in the Bible it talks about being born again. You have a couple of awakenings. I don't think they ever stop. I don't think any human being can walk the earth saying I'm a totally enlightened being, because I think the path of enlightenment is an infinite journey too. I think it expands, and I think it gets more vast. And I think the more deeper you get into it, the more insightful it is, and the more clarity it brings to everyday life. I don't believe you finish it. It's at least not here in this dimension, because you know the body is finite. The body, this thing, the physical body is finite. But I'm not my body. I'm a spirit manifested and inhabiting this physical shell and animating it. If I was just the body, a fucking stuffed animal is a body. A teddy bear is a body, but they're like this. They're not moving. They're not. something in us animates us, gives us emotion, gives us life. That is what we are more than the body, is the energy that animates our body. Because if we weren't this energy, the body would just be like a stuffed animal. It would just be there. There's a spirit inside of us that is manifesting life in us and through us, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe that is directly connected to what people call God, or you can call it Jah, you can call it Allah, you call it the universe, you call it source. There's a million names for it, but you know,
Yeah.
I think that everyone connected. I think everything is connected, man. I think that separation is an illusion. It's an illusion of this dimension because there's only one spirit, and that's what people call God, which is the eternal soul that was never born, therefore can never die. And it's basically like a big artist. We're all its creation: the tree, the mountain, the people. We're a drawing. we're God's painting. We're part of that creative being because we're expressions of it. We're all expressions of. This is what I believe. Let me not say it like it's concrete, because some people probably disagree with me, and that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, but I believe we're all expressions of one eternal creative soul. I don't know how we got here.
I've just been vibing out listening to you, but it's a lot of deep thoughts. I think some things that really resonate with me that you were saying was just, what are these lies that we're always telling ourselves? And how can we recognize that as like separate ourselves from it and sort of look at like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, but is it really true? Or is it something I'm just imagining in my head? And then not letting those little lies we're always telling ourselves just shape our whole reality. And that's just something, you know, like I've just been thinking about that a lot recently, and how, you know, you manifest your own world, and the energy you put out kind of comes back to you. And, you know, and it's a constant battle of how do I put out the right energy? And then sometimes you see it coming back, or things happen or whatever, but you're kind of on your path.
When you meditation for me has given me the ability to not be possessed by the negative thoughts.
Yeah.
When they come, I can feel them now. I can be like, oh, I can start feeling it. Oh, and instead of me going, I'm feeling like this, I go, oh, there's that energy arising in me. Yeah. And I look at the energy and I go, it's not real, because it has nothing to do with this moment. It's either something that had to do, it's either me regretting the past or based on regretting the past, fearing the future. That's all it ever is. It never has anything to do with what's happening right now. Because if you center yourself in the moment, you're always taken care of. You're not starving. You have both your hands, both your legs. Some people don't, but you have everything you need to exist. You know, my phone may cut off in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I only got
let's kind of wrap it.
It's at 4% right now.
Okay. Well, I'm very, I'm just happy for you that you got the kidneys. And, you know, we started that kind of that last section of what has this taught you? And it seems like, you know, you're a deep thinker. And I just appreciate you as a contributor to hip hop, and also just as being a cool, humble person, just even on our time on the road together and everything. So just thank you so much.
Man. I appreciate that.
Closing thoughts?
Nah, man, I just want to tell people to be positive during this coronavirus thing. Stay inside, keep your distancing, because we do this. Humanity, politicians and the government, they don't do this. They can make suggestions, and that's good. The quarantine is a good suggestion, but we have to do it. We're going to either get rid of this or we're going to make it worse. And it can get real bad if it gets worse. But humanity, everybody, all people, we have control over this. We can control it. We just got to discipline ourselves, sacrifice for the sake of everybody else. You know, and instead of, you know, it's kind of selfish to say, well, that's in the air, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless. Can we not do that? And can we move on one accord? That's the big question right now. Can we actually, if something threatens us all, can we unite as people of the planet Earth? Is that possible? We'll see.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Gift to Gab, for taking the time, and just stay
What up?
healthy out there.
No doubt. You too, bro. Stay healthy, stay positive, bro.
So there it is. Gift to Gab from Blackalicious. You know, I'm very happy he was able to get the kidney transplant, and clearly the man has a lot of wisdom and knowledge to share. So thank you for taking the time, Gab. Everyone, share this episode. We want to get this out there, and we want your feedback too. Feel free to leave a comment. We'll be back next week. Peace.